Hey, welcome to the World Warriors of Capcom Cup Player Showcase. I'm Ultra David.
And I am James Chen. This is the series of videos where we're going to go over all 32 qualifiers for the Capcom Cup that is going to be taking place early December this year at the PlayStation Experience in San Francisco. And if you guys aren't familiar with what the Capcom Pro Tour or what the Capcom Cup is, on this YouTube channel, this very YouTube channel, youtube.com/Capcom Fighters TV, there is an intro video that we created for this series of videos. So you can watch that and see all the storylines about Capcom Cup and from this year and from previous year and all this stuff. So definitely check that out to get yourself a little more familiarity with the Capcom Pro Tour. But we are here to talk about players. And the player that we are going to talk about today is none other than the Beast, a.k.a.
Umehara Daigo.
That's right.
That's right. It'll be Daigo. There is so much to say about Daigo's history. And so we're not going to be able to do it. But it goes back 2 decades. Mm-hmm. It encompasses many different games. Mm-hmm. Many different games. People nowadays might just know him for Street Fighter 4 because he's been playing Street Fighter 4 seriously and only Street Fighter 4 for some time. But he was playing all sorts of Street Fighter games and Vampire Savior and a ton of other games from a ton of different companies, and he was one of the best at all of them.
Before we've had EVOs, before we've had all these abilities and these opportunities for US to play versus Japan, Daigo was the first best player to come from Japan and challenge our best player. We had an Alpha 3 tournament here. Alex Valle reigned supreme there. Daigo was flown out for a special event to play against the winner of that tournament. That was one of the first times that we had a Japan versus US clash.
Right.
And it was pretty close. But Daigo did win, and it started kind of the cementing of his legacy. And just from there, it just exploded. And for the Street Fighter 4 series, he took it the first year it showed up at EVO in 2009. He took it again in 2010 and just hasn't stopped winning tournaments since then.
Yeah.
He's literally, I think, probably one of the most prolific fighting game players on the planet in Japan. He's endorsing things. He has his own books. I think I've seen him on doing ramen commercials, or he's on ramen packs or something. He's literally a super famous, a pro gamer over there. In fact, I remember even at some of the Tokyo game shows, there'd be those lines for people to sign up to go get autographs from Daigo, and they're all excited and stuff. So,
yeah.
I mean, this guy is true celebrity status in Japan.
Yeah. Of course, he also involved in the famous Daigo parry moment. Eponymously named. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for having parried all of Justin Wong's Chun-Li Super at EVO, and it was just a really hype video, and that video itself, I know of multiple people who started playing fighting games because of that video.
Yeah.
So his impact on fighting games is not just as a top player who's won a lot and been an example, but he has directly gotten a lot of people involved in this stuff.
And that video has been voted best competitive gaming moment ever by numerous people, and it might be the most watched video game tournament moment in history. It could actually be true.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what else would come.
Again, his history is too big to encompass in something like this, where we're going to be focusing on 2015 and on Capcom Cup and on his qualifying match for Capcom Cup, which took place at NorCal Regionals.
That's right.
2015. As far as his style goes, what would you say?
I always try to make this distinction between this concept of emotional players and science players.
Okay.
The emotional players are the ones who have just put in a lot of time in the game. They're really good at reading their opponents and understand and categorizing them. This is a defensive player, this is a nervous player, this is a patient player, etc. And once you put them in those little pockets and such, you play against them in certain ways. And so when you're in certain situations, you don't even necessarily think about it too much. You're like, you know what? I've been in this situation. If this feels like the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And a lot of the old school greats are that way.
Sure.
Like John Choi, as we mentioned aforementioned, Alex Vai is that way, and you know what, Daigo Umehara is that way as well, in my opinion. Now, having said that, the opposite of that is the science players who just study every matchup, who memorize all the frame data, who find all the optimal combos and punish and damage and stuff like that. And I've always kind of separated the two, right? So there's the science players and there's the emotion players. Daigo is an emotion player who's realized that the science players are up and coming, and he's just kind of said, you know what, I can do both.
Mm-hmm.
And out of all of the old school emotion players, he is the one who has dipped into the science side the most, which is what makes him so scary, because he's got both that, you know what, in this situation, this feels like the right thing to do. And then he's like, okay, I know exactly all these crazy setups and situations. So he's all there. He's all there.
When I think about Daigo, I think about offense and I think about unpredictability. I think about the fact that when somebody does a Dragon Punch in an unexpected situation and it works, it's called the Umeshoryu.
Right.
Yeah, that is named after Umehara.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's his thing. That's how well known he is for that. That goes back 15 years.
The psychic DP.
Yes,
Yep.
yes. So that's what I think about when I think about Daigo. And I still think that is the case. Of course, he has excellent spacing. Fantastic spacing. He always finds those little right spots. The sort of up-close mix-ups are excellent. He tends to use options that other players don't use quite as much. He really tries to squeeze everything he can out of the characters that he plays. Yeah. And he's playing a good one now in Evil Ryu.
Yeah. And the interesting thing, too, about Daigo is even just, we talked about how much fame he has in Japan and probably all over the world, frankly, especially amongst fighting game fans and such. But the interesting thing about Daigo, though, is this recent shift in personality that we've seen from Daigo. He used to have that in the infamous Daigo parry video.
Yeah.
Like, he's just like, and then he pulls off, like, the most ridiculous thing.
That's
and then
true.
he wins.
Right.
So he kind of had this reputation for being kind of like this very emotionless, kind of very serious.
Yeah. It was very rare to see emotion out of him. Yeah, he was very stoic.
But in the recent years, this guy, he's been smiling a lot. He's been having a lot of fun.
I think it's awesome.
And I think it's really cool. Yeah, and it's great to see how much he's enjoying, the fighting games. And he's been able to turn it into a real career for himself and all these things like that. So it's just really cool for me to see.
Well, you want to talk about NCR?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so the match that we're going to watch is the match that qualified him for Capcom Cup, which is grand finals of that tournament. It'll be against GamerB.
Yep. So
It'll be a matchup of Evil Ryu versus Adon.
Yeah, this is at Northern California Regionals that took place in Sacramento.
Right.
So
exactly. You wanna hop into it?
Yeah, and the reason why I'm eager to hop into this is because right away here you'll see Daigo, Mr. Emotionless Daigo, and already you can kind of see that he's just like, hey, smiling. Yeah, look at this. This is breaking out in smiles and such, and yeah. That's Daigo, of course, on the right, going up against GamerB on the left there, and they're just going to go right into this. But,
his sitting position as he plays is always an inspiration to me. He has really good posture, okay?
He won't have the back problems that a lot of us other players will.
Yeah. So when you see his Evil Ryu, I think you'll notice pretty quickly what I mean when I talk about his offensive ability and the fact that he just seems very insistent about playing. See, already he has the dash. Already he's pressing buttons in a little bit closer range. We've seen other people play this matchup, and it's a little bit farther away and a little bit more patient. But look, here he is already.
Twice. So 2 fireballs, a bunch of forward dashes, gets him to throw, bunch more forward dashes. Yeah, he's so kinetic.
Yes.
His characters seem so fast when he plays them.
And jump toward. Again, we've seen other people play Evil Ryu. They don't do focus. They don't do jump toward in that same sort of jump roundhouse, not even dive kick. But he's already doing all that stuff.
He spent the initial part of the round, just walked right up to him.
Right.
Low forward fireball, gets a focus attack.
Like, he has a plan, and he's going for it.
Oh, man.
Look at this.
Beautiful. Yeah, if you go for those throws there, he had the perfect reaction to the neutral. Oh, man.
Look at this. He just did everything that he wanted to do in that round.
Yeah.
He walked forward. He had the jump. He had that anti-air dragon punch there in the corner after the throw. Oh.
Yeah, and one other thing Daigo's good at doing is he's forcing you into doing things you don't want to do. Watch, there's 3, 4 fireballs, and he notices when he throws another fireball that Adon's going to get to a point where he looks like he's going to land on the fireball. And he has the jump forward all ready to go.
That was so genius, James.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
He said, you know what? He's going to do the air Jaguar kick to avoid the fireball. And he had it all ready to go. He's just so good at already knowing what to do beforehand. It's so frightening. He has the plans. And then look at this. He just doesn't back down. Challenging Jaguar kicks and...
Yeah, again, walking forward. Again. into a range. So when you're playing against somebody who you know is very good in the way that Gamer B is... Not uncommon to feel a sort of hesitancy about approaching. Mm-hmm. You know, you think, oh man, I can't challenge at this range. But that's not a problem for Daigo. He forces his way in.
Yeah, especially against a character like Adon. That standing roundhouse is a nightmare for so many players. You know, when you fight against an Adon, it has 2 hits, so it can break some focuses and such like that. But a lot of people will stay out of that range, but Daigo just doesn't care. He stays in it that whole time. Look at that. Wake up, low jab. Just challenging. Focus backdash, standing roundhouses, challenge that Jaguar kick. Didn't work for him, but he's always moving. Mm-hmm. He's always doing something.
I really like, too, that he backdashes back to a more comfortable position, and then from there, sets it all up again. You know, here's walk forward or dash forward something, jump towards something, fireball, all these different options.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, forward jump dive kick to blow up the uppercut timing as well. Yeah. And he's really good at subterfuge. It's really just, he throws a lot in your face, and it's, you think something's happening, and then he immediately switches it on you. But all the options that he chooses are so solid.
Yeah, you very rarely see that.
He used the chain combo. and
again, you see him just walking forward, harassing.
Dude, this pressure.
It didn't work, but I love it.
Yeah.
That dragon punch, I love it. Because after having pressed all those buttons, you know the opponent is feeling hurried and is feeling like, oh, I gotta
panic,
gotta get out of here. That's what dragon punch is meant to knock down, and it didn't work. But I love that he's willing to do that. It's a very fast 2-0.
Yeah. And right now, you got to imagine GamerBee's probably just feeling the burn, and Daigo is not going to let up.
You see, when he does a jump roundhouse and Adon anti-airs it, it's like 100 damage.
Yeah.
If he gets that roundhouse, different story. And he knows it.
Yeah, 2 frame traps in a row earlier in that round. Look at him. Every time he lands a jab, he walks forward. He lands a little poke, he walks forward. There he was anticipating an air Jaguar kick, so he got his armor broken. So GamerB is going to be able to get that round. But just see how often when he's right next to you, if he makes you block or get hit by something, he just keeps moving forward. Yeah. This guy, he's so aggressive. He doesn't care.
Even when he's at this mid-range, it doesn't feel like that's where he lives. It feels like he's going to be in your face any second, which is not common for Evil Ryu, but that's how it is.
Yeah, unfortunate for Daigo that combo missed at that range, but again, I don't think it's going to bother him at all. You see him jump at that really uncomfortable distance where GamerB has to think, should I try to uppercut or not? Oh, no true punish, but he's going to get the combo now off of that low forward fireball. And keep in mind, he just, wow.
Yeah.
GamerB really wants this game.
Right, obviously takes a big bet on this super that he's going to take this round right now, because without it, he's going to be in trouble.
Yeah, and then, see, Daigo, he's so good at walking forward and getting you to twitch and then hitting you with a button. And keep in mind now, one of the amazing things about Daigo, too, is that, you know, he's known for using Ryu. He switched to Evil Ryu kind of in the Ultra time frame. Mm-hmm. And, God, you can see how much it's paid off for him now.
Yeah.
And there's
it actually worked, yeah.
Yeah, you saw him whiff it once, and then he does and then the frame trap again. How many times has he landed a frame trap against GamerB?
Ooh, I love it. Oh, I love it again. It didn't work, but that's the best.
He just went for everything. He knew he had all that life. Yeah. He just didn't have to work.
I like Bruce's reaction here. Yeah, you're right. Like, it's like when you get in an argument and the person you're arguing with just has the right stuff, and you're like, yeah, hits you with that one point. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. That's how it is.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so just a very dominant performance. That's how he qualified for Capcom Cup. By playing against somebody who had such a good mid-range game, such good pressure, and such good defense, as Gamer B does. You know, second place had Evo, one of the best in Street Fighter 4 history.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 times second place at Evo.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. And he just got mauled.
Yeah.
He got mauled by Daigo in that set.
So those frame traps that he's landing, that's kind of an example of those emotion players. Emotion players are the best at landing frame traps. Like you see Vi do this a lot too. Where he just walks on the mouse and low strong. You just get hit by it. Daigo landed like 7 or 8.
He just has those timings.
Yeah,
like he understands something about when human beings want to press buttons.
Right, exactly. That nervousness.
And he's very, very good.
Yeah, that nervousness, and like I said, it's really cool too because Daigo started with Ryu, played Ryu for years and years and years in Street Fighter 4. Then he switched to Evil Ryu at one point, and remember, he didn't do so well with them. In fact, the first year he busted out Evil Ryu at Evo, he got the lowest seed that he's ever gotten.
49th place, I think. Yeah.
And a lot of people were critical of him, including myself.
I remember.
I was just like, you know what? I don't like this choice. I don't like this choice. But he stuck with it, and he basically, shut up all the critics. I mean, honestly, because he's doing really, really well with this character now, and it feels like he has that familiarity with the character that he's been trying to build up for like the last year and a half, last 2 years. So.
I just want to quickly bring up a tournament that I recently saw him in, where he's playing against Kita Senju DJ, and he just walks forward and presses stand medium kick. Did you see it?
I saw an animated GIF of it that was like super fast.
That was it, and the set was not terribly lopsided. But in that round, he just had so many correct timings and placings. Just press that button, you see Evil Ryu's kick come out. He's right like every time,
right?
And he just walks DJ back into the corner and wins the round. It was just. It looked so simple. It's sort of like he makes a fighting game seem like it is super simple, and like the opponent has very few options. That's something that the best players do.
Yeah, absolutely. Just takes away every one of your options. And look, Daigo, again, he has a reputation for a reason. He's one of the most famous fighting game players for a reason. So, I mean, the interesting thing though is that, like we said, last year he didn't do so well at Evo. He did not make it in top 8 this last year. He just finished outside. He was 9th place at Evo this year. But he's had a few tournaments here where he hasn't performed as strongly as before. Coming into Capcom Cup, do you think that he has any, what do you think is his biggest hurdle to overcome? What do you think is going to prevent him from winning Capcom Cup?
I will tell you this. I think that when it comes to an open bracket, I often think that in the last sort of couple of years that he is susceptible to something he hasn't planned for. To a play. That's what happened when he got 49th, right? He ran into 2 good old school players and they beat him.
Right.
So 32 people are at Capcom Cup, including him. So we'll have to game plan for 31 people. Right? Is that too many?
Right.
That's the only issue that I have. I feel like if he has prep time, that he's the best.
Prep time Daigo.
Daigo is the best. He beats people 10-0. He beats Evo champions 10-0. Has literally done that.
Yeah, twice. 2 different Evo champions 10-0.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But I don't. That's my only concern. Right. Is that it's open bracket. Well, it's not an open bracket, but there are many people involved, and they're hard to plan for. So.
Yeah, I mean, the only concern that I have, honestly, is not even anything to do with Daigo's gameplay or anything like that. It's just, he realized he's gotten to the point where he kind of realized where he's at, right? Okay. And so, like I hinted at earlier, he's gone from serious Daigo to happy Daigo. He's gotten a lot more personality, and there's been lots of interviews where he's talked about it. He's like, I understand that we're doing this to entertain people, and so he wants to I mean, there was that one tournament where he did that big old long 20-plus hit combo against Momochi, and everybody went insane about that. You know, there was really no reason for him to burn all of his meter and do all that, because by the time it got to the end, it's like you could save 2 meters for more damage, but he was like, I'm gonna do it because this is just gonna wow the crowd, and it did. Everybody went insane for that combo, and he kind of realizes at this point, that while trying to win, he still wants to entertain people. And so that, I feel like, might be the only like small tiny weak point in the armor. But again, he's been taking this game, he's been taking all of this stuff very seriously. So as you said, if he has the time to study, prep time, Daigo.
So what do you think it'll take for him to win? Is that what it is?
I think, it's, Daigo is Daigo. It's just one of those things, like, just don't count him out. You know what I mean? So if Daigo can if he can play the way that we just saw him play, that super aggressive style, stay in your face and just exact his will on all of his opponents, that's what he's going to be able to do to win. If he runs into some players who can really, take that out and remain calm and just play him straight up, not be intimidated and such, I feel like they can fight against him. But again, Daigo has all these, he knows, he's going to know all 31 players. Based on the way the bracket's fallen, he'll probably have a good chance of knowing who he's going to go up against.
Okay.
So again, it's just like, it's so hard to count him out because he is Daigo. He has so much history. He has so much experience. He's so good. So I don't know, like, if I can pinpoint one particular thing I feel like he needs to do to win it, but it's hard to count him out at all. So
I agree. When it comes to thinking about expectations about how he will do, I sort of feel the same way. I would expect him to do well, but it's just hard to know. I feel like he is sort of unpredictable sometimes in results. Right. Sometimes, as I said, he 10-0s Evo champions. Right. And sometimes he gets 33rd or something like that.
I mean, look, last year, Capcom Cup, 16 players.
Yeah.
And Daigo was, at that time, like, everyone's number one pick. And he didn't finish in the upper half. He finished in 9th place. He was in the bottom half of the bracket.
It's true.
He finished... 8 players finished higher than he did.
Yeah. And
nobody would have predicted that.
No.
So, yeah, there is those situations where sometimes he, he doesn't quite live up to the and the worst thing about it is everyone's always like, oh, he's old, he's washed up. And then it's like, and then he comes back and, like, wins these tournaments and blows everybody else.
There are people older than him. He's not that old.
Yes.
I didn't even mean you. I meant other top players and people who we will go over in this series are older than him.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that is an issue.
Oh yeah, for sure. And again, look, if Daigo finishes in top 3, I wouldn't be surprised.
Not at all.
If he finishes just like at like 13th spot, I can't honestly say I'd be super surprised right now. If he finished in the bottom half again, like, maybe he just ran into the wrong people. I don't know. Like you said, it's really hard to predict him now.
Yeah.
It's really hard but he's still very much capable of winning any tournament.
Of course he could totally win. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. And, you got to think he'll be one of the fan favorites as he does so. He always has the crowd, I mean, you can see it in his gameplay, right? The match that we went over is a very good reason why.
It's exciting to watch him.
Yeah.
It's exciting to watch him. He's a lot of fun to watch. And, I mean, this is just like a little anecdote, but he even said that he really enjoyed coming to the States when Evo was first starting and such like that, because the people here actually treated him more like a celebrity than it was even back home in Japan. So he was just like, he was fascinated by that. He was like, how do these people know who I am? Kind of things like that. And it was exciting to him. But now, like I said, it's like that every fighting game tournament he goes to now.
He's been living that life for a while. Definitely. Yeah. Well, that's Daigo. Expect to see him at the Capcom Cup, which is the weekend of December 5th through 6th in San Francisco.
That is going to be taking place during the Sony PlayStation Experience.
It would be awesome if you could go. If you can't go, though, it will be streamed on twitch.tv/Capcom Fighters.
Yeah, so definitely follow that. Follow the Capcom Fighters Twitter as well, at Capcom Fighters. You'll get all the updates on what's going on and for all the upcoming events that are still in the Capcom Pro Tour. And also, if you like kind of this analysis stuff, if you like the, digging deep into the fighting games and such, you can follow us as well on Twitter at UltraChenTV, also on youtube.com/UltraChenTV. And also, we do live shows every week on twitch.tv/UltraChenTV.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. And we for example, we'll do FGC news kind of things. We'll dig deep into matches and such. We'll also do very high-level beginner stuff. So we cover pretty much as we can fighting games-wise. So.
There you go. All right, well, check that out if you're interested. Regardless, Capcom Cup 2015, weekend of December 5th through 6th. Check it out.